Fasten your seatbelts. It's gonna be a bumpy ride.
You've got a real attitude problem, McFly. You're a slacker.
Maybe you need a timeout.
Welcome to the Luke and Rory podcast. Here are two guys, knuckleheads if you may, who jump in front of a camera and do a Facebook Live show.
You know, it's exciting.
They've decided to take that Facebook Live show and put it into a podcast.
Oh, good for you.
Why? Because can you really get enough of Luke and Rory?
That's a good one.
Meet Luke Weaver, who's known for his dead sexy hair.
You are an awful man. You are truly a disappointment to us all.
Meet Rory Pitts, who's never found an apple cup he can't be disappointed about.
I'm telling you, that man does not look stable.
Two guys who went to the same high school, love the same music, love sports, love movies, love their families.
Look at these clowns. Hand-picked monkeys.
All right, looks like the boys are caffeinated and ready to go.
Come on, get some coffee. You want some coffee?
That's enough nonsense. Now let's join the show.
Sound good?
I think it's that look that I give you.
I give you that look sometimes.
Oh, man. So
I was giving myself that look this morning.
So glad you could make it.
Glad I could make it too.
Oh,
hey, good
man.
morning, everybody. This is Luke and Rory. That's Luke. I'm Rory. Welcome to the show. Normally, we're running just a tad bit behind,
Normally we're running it.
but today,
We've actually been pretty good since the new year.
until today.
Yeah, until today.
And it wasn't our fault.
Yeah.
I'm going to just tell you guys real quick.
Morning, Nars.
It's already a trip to go from Tahuya to Sumner. And so I planned for it.
Yeah.
Yet, when one little car gets an fender bender on the side of the road with a police car behind them, everybody in Kitsap County has to slow down and take a
It's
look.
the most frustrating thing. Like, cars are off, like there's rubbernecking, right? And then every time I'm like, and I hate to sound like this, but I'm like, there better be bodies in the street up here. I got places to be. And then you get there, and it's like someone changing a tire, and a cop's helping, and you're backed up for 3 miles. It's like,
You're
dude.
not. The funny thing is, you're not wrong. It's like it's a bad thought to have, but at the same time, you're like, you know what? There should be just carnage all over the place for how long? I sat in traffic for 30 minutes because you know how Waze and Apple Maps, they'll tell you got 30 minutes of traffic.
Right.
Yeah, 30 minutes of traffic. I went from my house to not even the Purdy on ramp.
Yeah.
An hour.
I just don't know why people got to slow down and look. I don't know.
Just go. Just.
You know, speaking of traffic, though.
Hilditch, good morning.
Good morning, Miss Gregoriadis. Dude, Miss Gregoriadis was on my show yesterday on my live about the house.
Yeah, that was really cool.
I served with her daughter, Irene, in the Marine Corps.
Oh, right on.
And Irene, fantastic, beautiful human being. So,
nice.
anyways,
Matt says, good morning, Luke, and good morning, Rory, except the top 5% of you, which I will ignore.
Okay. Fair enough.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair. I was actually talking about Matt.
Oh,
I was actually talking about Matt on Saturday.
Oh.
And Matt, I blame you and I blame me. I was talking to somebody saying, you know what's funny about social media is that you can know somebody, you can see somebody on the other side of the stands, you can take a picture of somebody on the other side of the stands, and yet when the game is over, you never communicate down below.
Yeah. Matt, I think Matt jammed. He was like,
oh, yeah. So Matt and I still have not met in person.
Expect a big bear hug. When
yeah. So. Good morning, Drew. Afternoon, gentlemen, and greetings from the frozen plains of Nebraska, bro.
You know, I tell you, dude, it's been like this everywhere. That cold snap last week hit everyone. Like, Amanda was in town, Rachel's best friend. Denver, she was telling us that she was talking to her kids back home. Denver was at -8, like during the day, bro. Like -8 during the day. Denver's weird as it is because it could be -8 on Wednesday and then Thursday 71 and sunny. Like, you know,
well, there's this awesome cigar place that we went to in Nashville.
Yes.
Where you can literally buy a cigar and sit down and have an adult beverage and not have to worry about Jay Inslee walking through the door.
Yeah.
So anyways, I follow them on Instagram, and they posted a picture the other day. Snow all over the place, but the guy's got a stove, and he's like, hey, I'm going to enjoy this, but our shop is closed today. And so I look at the temperature. It gets down to -1 in Nashville.
Yeah, that's wild, man.
No, thank you.
It's like the whole U.S. just caught that. So,
Drew says, cold enough here that boiling water vaporizes. That must blow your mind.
did you see the video of the girl in Canada? She's like, she had a pot of, she had like an electric kettle, like boiling water.
Yeah.
And she's like, hey, so-and-so, this is how cold it is in Canada. And she went like this with the water, and it froze in the air up into this spiral. It just like stayed like an ice sculpture. I was like, okay.
Oh, Nars, don't do that. Please don't do that. The dude has already got a big enough ego as it is.
Actually,
no.
He's one of the guys I want to have on the show, by the way, at some
Absolutely.
point. Yeah,
Oh,
talk
absolutely.
about girls basketball and how he got into it, and then just like the future and everything. Like, he's a wonderful brain to pick for those involved in
And here's
sports.
another thing about social media. I saw this guy Friday night at Maddie's thing, and I'm like, that dude looks familiar.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how I know that dude, but that dude looks familiar. And then I get home, and I see people posting things about Maddie's big night.
Yeah.
And I look at Nars' phone. I'm like, it was Nars.
Yeah.
That's how I know that guy.
Yeah.
So my apologies, Nars. I didn't come up and say hi.
I want to talk about the GOAT.
Oh,
Everyone
man.
knows Nars. Yeah.
But hey, talking about cold, so we'll kind of transition towards sports for just a little bit today. Did you see some of the videos and pictures that came from Kansas City?
Yeah. And
Holy
Buffalo.
smokes.
Yeah.
Buffalo was a lot of snow. Kansas City. So did you see the one where the guy took a water bottle out of the refrigerator? Susie took the water bottle out. It just started freezing.
Oh my gosh.
And then I saw this one picture. These people bought cans of beer at the football game.
Yeah.
You take a sip, you put it in the little holder right there, and it just freezes right over.
Alcohol
comes
all the way out. Yeah.
Crazy.
That's what we talked about. That's the way it was in Minnesota when I was there. That guy next to me dropped his beer, and when it hit the ground, it instantly froze like solid to the sidewalk. And I was like, man, that's I mean, don't get me wrong, I like a cold beer, but
I don't want a popsicle.
The beer sickle, yeah.
Matt says I would have said hi, but I was a band parent first at the game and had to get the Dad taxi going right away. Time to go teach, but have a great show, guys. I'll catch you later. When you talk coaching vacancies, I'm curious if you would like to, like any of the coaches who are now talking heads on CBS Fox for the Hawks. Have a good one, gentlemen.
It's a good question.
Yeah, we'll get to that. That's
Yeah,
a good one.
question.
Then Nars says, all good, boss. Appreciate it.
All right, so where do you want to start?
Well, let's talk about football real quick. The Huskies, they got their coach.
Yeah, what do you think about that? I mean, be a non-biased, like just be a talking head.
Okay, so
don't be a Cougar fan.
Honestly, being non-biased, my first impression when I heard him talk, he's a Wally.
Oh, okay.
You know what a Wally is, right?
Yeah,
It's kind of like a goober.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, he's, from what I've seen with his record in Arizona, he did some pretty cool things.
Everywhere he's gone?
Yeah. The thing is,
he's a grinder. I don't know if you know this. He never even played high school football.
Okay.
He was a tennis player.
Okay.
And then got into coaching like in college, like as like a video tech guy, and then just loved it. And he's, I think he's part of that like newer wave of like not necessarily have played, but just really smart, looking at the X's and O's and understanding all the new reports and stuff that are available to versus just the eye test.
Right.
So
you know what? I feel like, and we'll talk about DeBoer in a second. I feel like the Huskies actually did their homework.
Yeah.
I feel like they did their homework with not knowing for sure if they had to have done their homework, if that makes sense.
So I heard after the AD said, and this is interesting for all you Husky fans. This is really interesting. And listen,
good morning, Beller.
Listen, for all you Husky fans complaining and crying and calling DeBoer a backstabber and all this kind of stuff, and being mad at Bama for poaching a coach, guys, you did it to San Jose when you brought him here, okay? And then you did it again to Arizona when he left. So stop. You're moaning, dude.
Okay. You know what? I'm glad you brought this up.
This is part of it. Like, this is just how things work, man. Like,
all right. Take a stop for a second here, because I'm glad you came to this train station.
Beller.
Because I want to kind of share the same sentiment.
Yeah.
In the last 7 full seasons, UW has had 4 head coaches, has been in the college football playoffs twice, averaged almost 10 wins.
Yeah.
Finished top 12 in nation 5 times.
Yep.
Sugar Bowl champs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. They've had a good run outside of the.
Stop complaining about DeBoer.
Well, it's just I cannot.
I mean, I get the venom. I understand the venom.
It's like that.
I would love to have your problem.
Yeah, it's like that Bible verse about like plank in your own eye and all that stuff. Like, and guys, this is just the name of the game. You're like, oh, I thought he was different. Well, none of them are different. Look, any one of you, if the heap of whatever you do, I don't care what you are. If you're an accountant and the top accounting firm in the country comes along and says, we want to make you our guy, we're going to pay you 2-3 times as much, and all this, like, you're gone. Like, it just is what it is. Like, this is a society. You got to look out for yourself. You got to look out for your own family. Literally, the top program in the country came to DeBoer, offered him a lot more money. I would be more concerned if he didn't take it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you guys want this guy. He's not thinking straight.
And it's so funny because people say, well, you're going to go to Tuscaloosa, but what about the beautiful Pacific Northwest? You're right. The Pacific Northwest is much more beautiful than Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's Alabama.
And
He's
hey,
a coach.
No one has even brought this up. And, like, think about this, the politics that might play into it. Coach DeBoer is from South Dakota, a red state, low taxation, and now he's in Washington, highest taxes in the nation, blue state. That could have played in it. He might have said,
Yeah, we got no proof, but yeah.
Yeah, he might have said, I mean, there's so many things that could have played into this, like, and where he wants his family and all that kind of thing. So he's going back to a lower taxation, low cost of living, red state.
Yeah.
I mean, that could have played a part. You don't know. I mean, who knows? I'm just saying there's so much that goes into it. The whole being upset because the program coach, whatever, dude. Then you need to stop being Husky fans because you guys have done it. You did it with Peterson. You did it with DeBoer. You did it again with Jed Fish.
Yeah.
I mean, is what it is. Okay, now all
Beller
that to say,
says, I didn't even know who he was until 3 weeks. I didn't know who he was until I think, who was it that told me? I don't know if it was you. I think it was somebody who I had no idea who knew what college football was, and they told me who this guy was.
Jed Fish?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good hire. I think if you're a UW fan, I think it's a good hire. I think Jed Fish is a guy that will probably stay for a number of years. He's a grinder. He's worked hard to get where he's at. He's won everywhere he's at. He's kind of the new wave of looking at, the numbers, the reports, and not just, old school Bear Bryant, like what you can see with your eye. I think it's a good hire. And I think they had to stop the bleeding. Now,
yes, that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, and the other side of this, and people don't realize this, is like, I guess that they kind of had him lined up for a couple months. They tried to get DeBoer to sign his extension around Thanksgiving. DeBoer did not sign the extension, according to the AD at UW. And so they started profiling different coaches that they would go after if he wasn't going to be around.
And that's smart. Yeah, I got to give the UW credit for that. That is extremely smart.
Yeah, Nars is spot on. He says, money and resources talk. Always has, forever will. Simple. Absolutely. And, Nars can speak to this, and we can talk about this too when we get him on the show one of these days, and we see this at the high school level in girls basketball, like at the club level. Like, girls are moving all the time. Loyalty, and you and I have talked about this and how I feel about loyalty. Like, and my wife tells me all the time I'm loyal to a fault, but like, it's a lost, like, I don't know about lost art, but it's a lost trait. It's a lost characteristic. Everyone's always looking for the greener grass. What can you do for me? What can you give me? And in that sense, especially at the high school level, I see with like the girls' sports, and I know it's the same on the boys' level or on the boys' side. It's a little bit sad, right? Because at that level, these kids should be focusing on development, working hard, building relationships, all kinds of stuff. And even at that level, and the NIL at the college level is kind of is bleeding. And we're not going to go into that. We've talked about that. But yeah,
I just think it's amazing how many people I've read, some national people in the past week, how many people have finally opened up their eyes and said, you know what?
It's getting a little crazy.
It's a problem.
Yeah,
we have a major problem here.
They got to work on that. So, yeah, I mean, ours is right. Money and resources talk. Always has forever. Look, you can be mad all you want. DeBoer did the right thing. He did what was best for him and his family. So, all right.
And that's – I hate to say this. I truly, in my heart of hearts, hate to say this. The University of Washington Husky coaching position is a good position.
Yeah.
It's a great facility. You got great boosters. You've got an amazing football stadium, a picturesque Lake Washington. It's a great place.
Yeah.
If I'm being objective, it's a great place. And understand that there are places that are a little bit more desirable, like Alabama, like Ohio State, like Michigan. There are going to be those places.
Yeah.
Now
in all sports.
And the other thing is that I've also seen some fans, as soon as Coach Fish got hired, DeBoer, he was a piece of crap. We didn't like him anyways. Da-da-da. I'm like, shut up. Stop being a rabid fan.
You're ready to build a statue out in front of the stadium a couple weeks ago.
I'm going to tell you this. If the head coach of the Cougars ever leaves for another school, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because that means our program has done something right.
Yeah.
And that is, honestly, look at the UW program. The reason he's leaving, the reason he's going to Alabama is because what has happened over the past few years. And as a Cougar, I hate it.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is.
Let's get to the NFL. Johnny.
Well, I do want to say one last thing.
Yeah.
I may have ruffled some Husky feathers last week when I laughed about you losing the national championship.
Oh, well.
Now, with that to say, it was a rough week for you Husky fans. I gave a couple of you hugs on Friday. Crab, I hit you in the gut. But nonetheless.
Yeah. You got, dude, look.
Welcome to the Big Ten.
Talk and running your mouth and all that's just part of it, man. People don't like it when it's them. All right.
There's Dane. Dane says, I'm here to crash the party.
In the right place.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, Beller, we need to Beller, you're banned from the show.
Yeah, Beller, you've been kicked out. You're no longer president
Beller
of the East Side chapter.
You're now banned from the show.
Crab's watching. Big booty. What's up, buddy? All right, let's get to the NFL. Johnny DeRocher wanted us to chat about this.
Yeah.
Johnny's one I want to get on the show, by the way. For those of you who don't know Johnny DeRocher, great guy. One of the most elite premier athletes to ever come out of Washington. Football and baseball star. Johnny, you need all this that I'm giving you. Any more confidence, but his story is pretty interesting.
Give me a snapshot of his story because the name is so stupid familiar.
All-state quarterback out of Bethel. His dad was a Tacoma police officer. He went full-ride scholarship to play quarterback for Oregon, transferred to UW, and I know. After being at UW this is the kind of athlete we're talking about.
When was this? Because I thought that name sounded familiar with
early
UW.
2000s.
Wow. Okay.
And then after being UW for football, walked onto the baseball team, made it as a pitcher, I believe, and then ends up getting drafted by the Mariners into the minor leagues. And then I'm not going to go too much into it. I'll let him go into it. But then some health things popped up, and it changed his life. And now he's a firefighter in Pierce County. Wonderful guy. Beautiful wife, beautiful kids. Cool guy to have around. So, Johnny, we're going to get you on one of these days and get your story. So, coaching carousel at the NFL. I feel like it's only news because of the people who have been moving. Someone said to me yesterday, like, man, so many coaches. And I'm like, I feel like it's always 4, 5, 6 coaches, at least. It's just because you're hearing Belichick and Carroll and names like that it's a bigger deal this year.
Oh, yeah. I think, absolutely.
Word is that Belichick has a second interview with Atlanta. I feel like that's the way they're going to go.
I think that's where he's going to go. Yeah.
If I'm honest with you, I think it's a bad hire by Atlanta. I think Belichick's best days are behind him. I think the way he identifies with players is old to a lot of people. I think I do believe that the dynasty, right? All of the Patriots' success was a combination of Belichick and Brady and all that.
Yep.
I think the difference is that I think that Brady's mentality and work ethic and being who he was held it all together in New England. Once he left, I don't think there was that leader there that followed the Belichick way, the Patriot way anymore. And the new wave of players are done playing for a 71-year-old who doesn't talk, who you don't know where you stand, And I'm not saying one way's right or the other. I think the new wave of players is more where do I stand with coach? Like I want the pat on the back. Like that's not Belichick. And I think his days of being successful are behind him. I don't think he can build a program like he did with New England. And so I think it's a bad hire. That being said, I think he's going to Atlanta.
Yep. And I was actually listening to Tom Brady's podcast earlier this week. Mm-hmm. I just happened to catch it on SiriusXM NFL channel. And he had Julian Edelman, which that guy irritates me because he's so good. And when they beat the Seahawks in the Super Bowl, and then he's out there on the freaking float just flaunting it. Edelman's a great player. Can't stand him as a person. But he had Edelman, he had Randy Moss on there, and they were all talking about Belichick and sharing stories and everything. And you could tell they weren't coming right out and saying it, but Edelman and Moss were both saying that Brady was pretty much the guy that kept it together.
Yeah.
Like Bill. How did one of them say? One of them said like Belichick was the legislature. Yeah. And Brady was basically the law enforcement.
Yeah.
Like this is what the law is, and I'm going to help enforce it.
Yeah. Once he was gone.
Yeah. I mean,
honestly,
I mean, I know we've talked about this, and it's not a fair comparison, but once Brady left, it did seem like the wheels started coming. Now, granted, Mac Jones, not inspirational at all.
No, and I wonder.
And, oh crap! I agree. Edelman is hilarious.
One of the things
he's irritating though. He's hilarious. He's kind of like Pat McAfee to me.
Yeah.
Like somebody sent us Pat McAfee highlights yesterday.
Yeah.
Crab, I don't know if you saw it. He was a stud in the NFL as far as punters go.
Yeah, he was a stud punter. He could really kick the crap out of the ball.
But he's irritating.
Yeah.
McAfee.
And
he's pretty.
Think too is like, I don't know how many of the young players care about what Belichick's done. So like, there's something to say like with basketball, for instance, like LeBron. I've always like had a love-hate relationship with LeBron. Like I think he whines too much and he wants too many calls just because of his name.
And this is coming from a Laker fan.
Yeah, and I have always been a huge Laker fan. I was a Showtime fan, big Magic Johnson.
A national treasure.
Matt Jones would play JV at North Mason. Now, all that to say, I mean, he's obviously a great player. The one thing I've always respected about LeBron is he knows the history of the game. He gives credit to the history of the game. And I think that's a rare trait among young athletes of understanding who came before, what they meant to the game. Like example, like I was talking to a young hooper recently, a young man, and we were talking, and he just had no clue how important like Magic Johnson and Larry Bird were to 80s basketball.
That's a tragedy.
Yeah, in reviving the sport. I mean, literally, we might not have an NBA if it's not for those two in the 80s. The NBA was barely hanging on by a thread until Showtime and the Bird came along. And so I just think it's important to know that, like, about your sport and like in the history. And I've always respected that about LeBron, is that he knows the history of the game. He always gives credit. And I think he demands it of the people around him, the young players coming up. Like,
well, he may be the last link to that old school basketball.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he did play against Jordan.
Yeah, he played against Jordan, and
he played against
obviously
Kobe.
We lost Kobe.
Yep.
Kobe would have been in that kind of conversation.
Oh, absolutely.
And so LeBron is the second coming of Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So anyway, now all that said, I just don't think, to get back to it, I don't think that a lot of young players care what Belichick did. I don't think that way is going to work anymore. So
yeah,
anyway.
I think you're right. I think it's going to. Well, we'll see. But I mean, I guess at this point, it's how humble can Belichick pull a Harbaugh? Can he realize?
Yeah. Harbaugh's kind of changed his spot.
Have
right?
a little bit of humility.
Yeah.
And work with the people around you.
I don't think so. Let's get to the Hawks. I've seen the list of who people want. KJ Wright was on sports radio yesterday with Brock and Salk.
Okay.
And he wants Dan Quinn. And he gave all his reasons why. And obviously he played for Dan Quinn for DQ. And so he knows. I get that hire. I do. I get that hire. I just don't know. There's some other names floating around. Raheem Morris out of LA. I wouldn't mind that hire. He had one shot before and didn't really get a fair shake.
Where's that at?
Tampa Bay, years back.
Okay. And
so I think he was there for a total of 3 years, 2 winning seasons, 1 losing season, was kind of booted.
Interesting.
And then the other one and that I really am interested in is Mike Vrabel.
Well, that's what Crab just said here.
There it is. Yeah. I really think Vrabel would be a solid hire.
Why did it not work in Tennessee?
I think it did work.
I mean, it did, but then this past season was just a hot mess.
I think there's been a lot.
Why do you think, Crab?
I think there's been a lot for Vrabel in Tennessee. I think part of it, they dealt with a lot of injuries. In the last year, he's dealt with quarterback switching. So they had.
Can he bring Derrick Henry with him?
Absolutely. Yeah,
oh, okay.
We need that style.
But, so if we're going to get Vrabel, then let's bring Derrick Henry.
I think Vrabel would be a good pick. I either want a defensive-minded coach, like a stud defensive coach, who will turn the reins over to a young offensive mind, or the other way around, a young offensive mind who brings in a stud defensive coordinator. not named Clint Hurt.
Okay,
So-
Crab says rookie quarterback in Tannehill's trash. Fair enough.
Yeah.
That's
And even
fair
the rookie quarterback, by the way, what a steal for them. Levis looks like he's going to be a stud. So, and everybody passed on him. He was like that, you know, we've seen it a few times through the years, that guaranteed first rounder who fell out into the second round and just sat there all day at the draft on camera.
Right.
It was a rough go. But I
Bill
think
says
Levis looks
Vrabel
like
is
he
a
could be
player
okay.
coach with discipline. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like that.
So we'll see what happens. That's kind of my view on things. I'm not looking around at what everyone else is doing. McCarthy's staying in Dallas. Jones gave him the vote of confidence.
The funny thing is with McCarthy is like you can't win no matter what you decide there. Like if you get rid of McCarthy, then you have to start with another coach.
Yeah.
But if you keep McCarthy, something else has to change.
And that game honestly kind of like soured me with Dan Quinn a little bit. I did like you have a week and a half to prepare for the biggest game of the season against a young quarterback, the first year starting quarterback in the NFL in Green Bay that has been. I mean, let's look what Green Bay has done this year. Awesome, like with the young quarterback and making
crazy,
and they've done it again with bringing in the quarterback, letting him sit for a couple years and learn. Like, look, anybody out there, Green Bay has the mold on how to get a good young quarterback. Bring him in, let him sit for a couple years.
Yeah,
you know they did it with Favre to Rodgers and now Rodgers to Love. Now all that to say, you're Dan Quinn, the defensive coordinator of one of the top 3 defenses in the NFL, and you can't put together a better game plan to stop Green Bay on your home turf.
Yeah.
Makes me nervous.
What is the meme right now? The Packers have more playoff wins in Dallas than Dallas does.
Yeah. It's like 3-2. Anyway,
Chris, good morning. Good to see you. Chris
Crab Pete was 0 for 653 on challenges, and I hated it.
Yeah,
he was
pretty
rough
much.
on challenges.
Pretty much.
So.
Mike
Anyway.
says Vrabel would cut down dumbass penalties and not lose every effing challenge. Yeah.
I like Vrabel. I think it's a good hire. I'll be interested.
Did you listen to John Schneider the other day?
Yes, I did.
You know what? Because Mike, Luke, and myself, we kind of have an off the show thread, and I kind of thought maybe John might have been part of pushing Pete out.
I don't think he did.
I don't think so. No, after listening to that press conference, he was pretty
well.
emotional.
And even Carroll said on the radio show the other day, it was not football people who made the decision. He said that. He said the thing that's frustrating to me is we have our plan, we have all this, and then they don't agree with me. But it was not football people who made the decision, and John Schneider is a football guy. So I don't think it was Schneider that pushed him out.
So you're telling me it's one of these situations like when we were in middle school where you're dating a girl and then you're like, you know what? I think we should break up, but can we still be friends?
I'm a little concerned. Yeah.
I don't think Pete Carroll wants to be friends.
Well, and I think I'm concerned about what impact this has on the franchise moving forward with Schneider's relationship. Because from what it seems now is like I don't think Schneider had anything to do with it. He might be a little bothered. Now, I would almost say on the reverse side of that, it would have been Pete who then told him, no, you stay here. This is your chance to show what you can do as a GM without me here, and so we'll see. Yeah, I was wrong on that one. Jody Allen had some dude in her ear. Can't remember his name. Yeah, I don't think he had anything to do with it.
You just brought up another good point. Because listening to Schneider's press conference, it almost sounded like you and I had a fight behind the scenes.
Yep.
And you said, this is the way we're going to do it.
Yep.
So then I get out here on camera, and it's basically my way of saying, so it's been told to me that this is how we're going to do it, and we're going to move forward in this direction.
Yeah.
It almost like
I kind of feel like I wouldn't be surprised if we see Schneider on the market in the next couple of years, which I hate to think about, but it is what it is.
Luke dated his wife in middle school and then broke up with her.
Yeah, I didn't break up with her. She broke up with me.
Well,
nothing to do with it. Yeah,
we could have a whole therapy session.
I was told the next day at school we were no longer holding hands. So that's what happened.
You know what? That sounds like Rachel too. Just get right to the point.
Luke is attached to the whip. Kind of jealous. Yeah. So, anyways, that's kind of my take on some of the coaching stuff out there. I think there's some good young names out there. You're definitely seeing the movement towards the younger offensive mind. It started with McVay and Shanahan, and then you got McDaniel. Nick Sirianni, which see what happens there.
Boy, they're ready to
even
tear
in
it.
what's his face in Cincinnati. Can't remember his name, but
Burrow.
The coach.
I can picture him.
Yeah, you're seeing this move to these young minds in different ways of looking at things. And so I would like to see, if you bring in a guy like Grable, I want to see Grable go out and get like that stud offensive mind if we could. So, all right.
Well, and let's wrap it up with this. Let's just talk real briefly about the playoffs here. Where do they go right
Bill
now?
Landerman is head coach.
Let's see. That's it.
Man.
Wild card
Billy,
round.
legend.
So I wanted to just kind of talk about this. So think about this for a second. Let's think about the quarterbacks that are playing this weekend. Texans.
C.J. Stroud.
Ravens.
Lamar.
Yeah, he's the old man in the group. Think about that.
Yeah.
Buccaneers.
Baker Mayfield.
Yep. Lions. Goff. Chiefs. You got Mahomes.
Josh Allen.
You got
Jordan Love. Brock Purdy. No one is over like 27 years old.
Bro, like there's your youth movement right there.
Yeah, every quarterback is a young mid-20s, or younger. Yeah, crazy. It's crazy. So, and honestly, some absolute studs in there, dude. I mean, some absolute studs. So, football. All right, let's move on.
Be a fun weekend.
Yeah.
All right, so something happened Friday night.
Yeah.
We didn't really share it on the show last week because we wanted to keep it a surprise.
CJ Stroud is Jesus reincarnated. Love him. Black Jesus, CJ Stroud. Yeah. Black Jesus is actually
Lil Nas X.
What's his face? Used to play for the Hawks. Lineman Bennett. Bennett always calls himself that. Hey, it's Bennett. Okay,
Moses bread.
Yeah. So So hey, Rory and I were talking about this, and we wanted to. Guys, my oldest senior night was on Friday night, and going into it, man, was I nervous because the weather all week. Like I was talking to you on the phone, I was talking to Nars, I was talking to Coach Elliott. I'm like, we were so nervous, and then it changed for the better. And I'm like, all right, good, we dodged that bullet. Right?
Yep.
And then all of a sudden it starts snowing and freezing the night before, and I'm like, here we go again. And I was like,
welcome to Washington.
I just had decided the game was canceled. It was over. Like I was.
Oh, that would be.
And my dad had flown in from California, and my sister and brother-in-law had flown in from Hawaii, and Amanda had come in from Colorado, and people were coming from all over the area. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And then we had shirts made. Are you wearing it? There it is.
How awesome is
my
that?
guy,
Huh?
my guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I said Friday night, the only time you'll get me to wear purple and gold is for Maddy.
It was.
And then soon, Laney.
Yep, soon Laney. And you know what? I wanted to take a minute to say thanks to everybody out there. And I posted about it, and I've seen people, and since then, and I'll see more people, and it'll be big hugs from the big guy.
It was a nail biter.
Yeah, actually a nail biter. 54-8 or something like that. But here's the thing. Like, I talk a lot about like community, and I talk a lot about friends and family, and I talk a lot about with people like how blessed I am, like to have such great close friends, and my daughters have all these honorary uncles and aunts, and these people in their lives that like if I wasn't here, I know would just step to the plate. And I'm gonna get all misty talking about it, but and then to see Friday night unfold was just like a painted picture of exactly that. We made all these shirts. I had like 80 shirts, and I thought, man, I hope I'm gonna have I'll probably have like 20 or 30 left over. All 80 of them were gone, and there was 20 or 30 more people there that showed out. And if you want to put the picture up, we got a picture of everybody. This was Maddy's cheering section on Friday night. There was 100 people or so right there, and there were more people that were there, sitting in different places, Hilditch and all kinds of stuff. If you look down in the front, like just where Laney is, 2 people over, you have Joby and then Nars and Nars' wife Michaela with their club program out there with and Nars and Michaela had their daughters there. It was just, and my sister's right next to Laney. She came from Hawaii, and you just see these people. There's people that we went to school with. There's friends that we've made along the way. It was that's bothering her. Thanks, Bella.
I know I'm the first. I get it.
I just when you talk about these things like community and family, and the people show out like that for your kid, it just youth pastors from our church, family and friends. It meant everything. It just really did. It meant everything. It meant everything to her. and Lainey even, just to see everybody there. I just Pamela's on, just jumped on. Pam was there, and Pam and Chris and her sister Andrea. I mean, just so many people, and not only that, the younger players in the program that wanted shirts, that were screaming and hollering for her, to see the impact she's had on them the last couple of years. There's a girl in the program, I want to give her a shout out, Jada. She loves on Maddy so hard. Every night when Maddy runs through starting lineups, she videos it and posts on Instagram and just talks about how she's her favorite per player. And anyways, guys, everyone who was there, Nars says best senior night ever. Well done, Weaver. Thanks, Nars. I appreciate it. But and honestly, like people like Nars and people like that have supported her along the way, like none of it would be possible without them, and like everything they've done to support her through the years and get her where she is. And it was amazing. It really was amazing.
Well, I'll tell you from my point of view, because I got there fairly early and I went and found a place to sit in the stands, and I'm just watching people slowly come in. I got a chance to see Maddy's reaction when she saw the first shirt, and the first shirt was on her mom.
Okay.
And her mom came walking across the way, and Maddy just was like, just that her eyes got big. Yeah. And then I think because I had my shirt hidden. I think a lot of people had their shirts hidden. Yeah. But when her mom had the shirt wide open for everybody to see, I went, okay, at that point we're good. I can let the shirt fly. And has Maddy talked to you about that? Has she talked to you about that night and the expectation?
Yeah, it was funny. First thing she said, she's like, I'm glad I started noticing the shirts before I ran out for starting lineups, or I probably would have been a mess to start the game. She's just been very. I got the most, like, she actually, it was funny. There were so many people. We had a bunch of people come by our house afterwards for an after party thing. And I'm laying in bed finally once everybody leaves, and I get a text message from Maddy. She was asleep, like half asleep upstairs. She texted me, and I'm not going to say everything that she said, but it was just, let's just say I fell asleep crying, like happy tears. So it was quite. No, Maddy didn't know about the shirts until we got there. So. There's the train. We're at Safeco, or not Safeco, T-Mobile. So yeah, everyone who made that night what it was, thank you so much. Just, I love you all. I genuinely appreciate everything. I genuinely appreciate your support for my kid. I tell you what, Maddy and Lainey, they got us too. They planned, they orchestrated. We're gonna play it here. They orchestrated this really cool thing in the walkout, and see if you guys can pick up on it. We're gonna play it right now.
Another freshman guard, number 12, Lady Dreamweaver 2. Up front tonight we have all seniors. Number double deuce, Alexis Sumner. And another post, number 34, Maddy the Dream Weaver. Let's bring out final senior tonight, number 40.
That was their own deal, and it was funny because they said they had something, and then we saw it, and I turned around, and like so many people, like the twins and like their mom and Rach and us, we were like tears in their eyes. They're like, oh my gosh, the passing crown, that was so cool. And it was pretty cool. It was, for those who don't know, Lainey's a freshman, and she's starting and getting to play with her sister, and seeing her do that was it was a cool moment. It was a cool moment for all of us, and they still have some games left, but yeah, that one made Krista cry. Yeah, I know. So many. It got me, man. It was. I thought that was pretty unique.
You know, the thing was I didn't realize that was Lainey. So I'm just focused on Maddy coming out. I knew Lainey had already come out, but I didn't think Lainey had gone back over there.
Right.
I was still thinking it was the same girl. So I was trying to figure out, why did Maddy pass the ground to that girl that was at the end?
Yeah. And
it wasn't until I watched the video later that I went, oh, that is so freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Fun. That was really cool. Crybaby.
And then there's a video circulating. One of the kids that does photography at the school got a really cool video of it and then paired it with a few highlights of Maddy.
Oh,
and put it out on a reel. And her name is Maddy, actually, too. Maddy Wells. She's going to send it to me, and I'm going to put it out there a little bit more. Maybe we'll see. It was pretty cool how she put that together. But, yeah, that was fun. It was an incredible night. Thank you all so much. I sit here and say thank you forever, but it's a night I'll never forget. It's a night she'll never forget, and we'll do it again in 3 years.
That's what it's all about, man. Yeah. That's what it's all about. You want to create those memories.
Yeah.
And I know I have just a fraction of understanding how much stress you had over the past 2 or 3 weeks trying to coordinate everything. I got to tell you, it was really cool to see your dad and your mom together, coming down there, seeing the entire family to come out and celebrate Maddy, when they were taking photos and everything. It was so cool. It was so cool to see so many different people that I knew, I didn't know. Yeah. And I shared this with Luke when we were there. I texted him like, dude, I've had so many people come up to me and go, Rory, how's it going? And I'm like, hey, you, how you doing? It's like, so I'm at a disadvantage. You know me, but I don't know you.
That's how it is every time I go to Belfair, man. Yeah, good to see Mom and the Chief. Yeah,
absolutely.
And guys, I'm here to tell you, it was kind of wild. My dad said he wanted to do Christmas with the family, and so Monday on MLK Day, when the kids were off school, we had my entire family. So my sister and her 4 kids.
Oh wow!
And her husband, me, Rach, and the kids, and then. Anna or Jordan and Bo were here from Hawaii, and my mom and dad all under my roof doing Christmas together on Monday. It's the first time all of us have been together since my sister's wedding in Hawaii. What was that? That was 6 years ago. And since then we've had a couple. My nephew Sean and my niece Eowyn were born, and so we got a couple more added. It was. It's nice to see my mom and dad at a place where there's no fighting. Nothing's being thrown.
Right, right.
And it's been twice in the last couple months because I drove them from my dad's place in Palm Springs to San Diego in November to watch my nephew Tegan graduate Marine Corps boot camp. And Jordan and I were laughing. It was like kind of annoying how much they were getting along and talking. And like, can you guys just shut up for a second? And I love you both, and you'll probably see this, but like, they're both in their 70s. If I had a nickel for every time they said, pardon, couldn't hear? Like, what was that? Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, 2 deaf people talking to each other without sign language. I'm like, golly, like.
Hang in there, buddy. You're 20, 25 years away.
Turn the radio down and start yelling at each other. I miss the yelling at this point. But, Jordan and I are just looking at each other in the car. I'm like, oh my gosh. At one point, I was driving. I think I put my headphones on. And I just was like 2.5 hours. Anyways,
that sounds like you.
Yeah, it was great. It was great Monday to have everyone together and kind of do that. Because, and in all honesty, you never know. Pam says your dad gave me the biggest best hug. Oh, I love it. The Lake Brats. That's a bond, right? The Lake Brats. You never know when it's going to be the last time.
Yeah.
My parents are in their 70s. They both had their share of health issues. My nephew's heading off to the fleet, the Marine Corps fleet here soon. Maddie's heading off to college in August.
Yeah.
You never know when when or if it'll happen again. So it was.
And it's not even if somebody's going to pass away.
No, it's
orchestrating that. Well, I'll share this with you. I remember when I took the family to Disneyland in 2016, I knew that was going to be that was going to be the last vacation I was going to take with my family, my core family, because I knew that after that it was going to be a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a fiance or
kids, grandkids,
and you never know when that's going to happen. Paul, yes. As a matter of fact, it's a T-shirt for Maddy Weaver.
Yeah,
and like I said Friday night, this is the only time you're going to get me to wear purple and gold. So Maddie's got a game tonight at South Kitsap. I'm going to go watch her again because that's closer to home.
Yeah.
So
it was kind of funny. My dad came out and gave me a hard time because at my house, you've been at my house. So there's the living area, dining room, kitchen, all kinds of. But then there's the front room, the lower front room that's kind of set aside from everything, and that's where I hang out. The man cave. Of course, like everyone's at the house, and you know me, like I'm kind of like, okay, it's getting loud and whatever. So I'm down in the den, the front room, watching the football game. And
thanks, Paul.
My dad comes out, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Just chilling." And he was like, "We're all here together, and you're out here." And I'm like, "Fair enough, all right."
Yeah.
And so I reintroduced myself to the pack, and that was a fair sentiment from the old man. So, So anyways, old man took off yesterday back to Palm Springs. My sister and brother-in-law left last night back for Hawaii. We got a few days to hang out with them. My sister and brother-in-law got to go to another game on Tuesday night and scream and holler. It was kind of funny. They lost by 5 on Tuesday night, but Laney hit another half-court buzzer beater.
Ha!
So they were down 8, and there was like 3 seconds left, and Laney got the ball, turned a couple steps, another half-court shot, nails it, nothing but net, but they lose, right? So
Right.
no one on the floor like celebrates, but my sister and brother-in-law are like, woo, 10-pointer, we win, and I think coach is just looking across at him like, what the hell?
They're over there smoking cigars and everything.
Celebrating. And so it's one of those like incredible shot. But so, yeah, that's Laney's second half-court buzzer beater this year. I'm like, making a habit of this. Like, if we could have been within 2 when that happened.
I'm excited. I was talking to Christy about the game on Saturday and how much fun it was and watching the kids out there. And I'll give you some observations.
Yeah.
And I mentioned this to Rachel Friday night because Rachel is good at schmoozing.
Yes.
And I mean that in a positive way. She literally was bouncing all over the stands, talking with different people. And it was so nice to see that. But at one point, she was sitting next to me because she was talking with her mom. And I told her, I said, man, Maddy seems such a different player than last year. Like, she seems, and I don't mean this in a bad way, she seems like she's in control.
Yeah.
And in both the good things and the bad things. Like, if something bad happened, not that she threw a fit last year, but she literally looked like a player that just let it roll off her back. Let's go on to the next thing. And so I was really impressed with that. And the other thing that I noticed was, who's number 10?
Number 10, Adriana.
Freshman.
Adri, yeah.
Number 10 and your daughter.
Yeah.
Freshman.
Yeah.
On varsity, starters.
Yep.
Holy crap, watch out for Puyallup High School, because if they're freshmen.
Well, they got some girls coming that are studs that are club players.
Oh my gosh. So, Maddy, you set the foundation for this program, and now these young ladies are going to build on what you and all the other girls before started. Yep. So that is an amazing thing, and I'm excited to see where this program goes in the next couple of years.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And Maddy's made these, and it's all, and I give all credit to FBC, to Nars and Joby and the crew, like, and Cartier, who's been a coach and trainer for her, who's not with the program anymore, but she's made these massive leaps every year, especially like between the end of a season and the beginning of the next season, from the club exposure, from playing top talent around the country, from the development and the coaching and the mindset part of it. And, it's been great to watch. And one of her old coaches was there on Friday night, Mitch, and he said to me, the crazy thing is I feel like I'm watching her and she's still only half the player she can be.
Right.
Because she started so late and she's still figuring things out. And you'll see her do something awesome and then kind of like sometimes struggle, like, she's still sorting through things. And Nars has said the same thing. We've talked about that, is like where she might be in a couple of years is going to be.
And she wasn't in foul trouble at all.
No. Well, yeah.
I mean, that was great to see, because the last couple of years I've watched games.
Well, and she's gotten better. Like, even on Tuesday, she got 2 fouls in the first 4 minutes. And I'm like, oh, great.
Oh, geez.
And one of them was a good call. One of them was a terrible call. One of them was a good call. And I'm like, here we go. She didn't pick up another foul until midway through the fourth. Like, she's learned to, like, okay, how do I play with this? How can I still impact the game defensively without? And that's been huge. And she's doing new things now. She's just got with a nutritionist she's gonna take her nutrition to another level. Her whole point to me was, I don't want to show up on, the struggle is, and this conversation she's going to have with Nars, I think at some point, is like, every year she's got done high school ball and gone into club season, and that helps you get better.
Right.
She doesn't have club ball this year. And so she's like, I got to figure that out. I got to get runs. I got to get my training. I got to find, runs to get involved on. And so, because she said to me, I don't want to show up my freshman year at Chaminade the same player I'm leaving high school as. Like, I want to make another big jump. And so that's going to be the goal. And so,
that's fair.
Yeah, she sure is all grown up and beautiful and massively successful and famous, semi-famous and all that, my sister. So anyways, we'll move on from that.
Beller wants to know, is there a game next Friday? I'll request days off today and go. Let me know.
Let me check the schedule as soon as we go after Beller, and I'll shoot you a text.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Right on.
What else we got?
Well, let's finish it up with one little an interesting story.
Oh, the streaming.
Yeah. And let me go ahead and preface this. Let me go ahead and play this, you guys, because I think this will set the tone. And it's only
Did
like
we talk about this?
No,
you and me off air.
We talked about it off air.
Yeah,
absolutely.
okay.
All right, so we're going to talk about Americans are canceling more of their streaming services. So let me go ahead and hit this.
Yeah.
More and more people are canceling their streaming services. About 25% of subscribers have canceled at least 3 or more of the popular streaming services over the past 2 years. That figure stood at just 15% 2 years ago. Now, the increase in canceling has forced some companies like Hulu and Netflix, as well as others, to bundle their products, offer discounts, or even run ads, all to help keep their businesses profitable.
So I can tell you from my own personal experience, I signed up because I'm with Hood Canal Communications. I think that's the cable provider out in Tahuya.
Okay.
I signed up for cable because I wanted to watch college football. I wanted to watch pro football. So that was a chunk of money. So I signed up for that in September. And then I signed up for, in November, I signed up for Paramount Plus because I was over at my mother-in-law's. She doesn't have TV, and I wanted to watch the Thanksgiving game. Then I signed up for Peacock because I wanted to watch that Thanksgiving
Doing those
game.
free trials.
And then I signed up for Disney Plus because Ryan and I, it's mostly Ryan and I, the girls.
Marvel series.
Right. The girls, they're like, yeah, we love it or hate it. We don't care about Disney Plus. But Ryan and I are like, you know what? It's been a year. Let's sign up because, like, for example, Loki season 2, it's all done. It's already there. We can binge it. And plus, it was Christmas time, so we're like, well, some of the Christmas things, Home Alone 2, all that kind of stuff. So for us, it's more of we were just going to do it for 1 month, and then we're going to cut it off. And we're now at that point where we're going to cut everything off. It's crazy. And I'm interested to hear what kind of services you have. I'm interested to hear what kind of services you guys have. But we are absolutely cutting everything this month because it's gotten out of control.
It's. I remember the time when it was they talk about the cord cutters, the cable cutters, people moving away from cable TV because of how expensive it was, and moving towards streaming services or whatever to save money. Well, now it's almost the opposite. Like it's less expensive to have traditional TV.
Yeah,
because
put up your digital antenna.
Well, everybody is coming. It used to just be Netflix.
Yeah,
right, and then it was Netflix and Prime. Right. And then
I'm sorry. I still have Prime.
Yeah. It's because you have Prime, Amazon Prime.
Right.
It comes with it. And then it was Netflix, Prime, and I don't know who else popped in. I mean, just another one. And Hulu, and then Disney Plus, and then it's Peacock, and then it's Paramount Plus, and then the History Channel one. And it's like, dude, I can't.
Yeah.
And the problem is like for guys like you and I who have varied interests, I want to watch History Channel things.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to watch some of those documentaries, right? I want to watch Yellowstone, which is on Paramount, right? I want to watch Disney movies that are on Disney, but I also want to watch football, so I got to have Fubo,
right?
And it's like,
or YouTube TV,
or YouTube TV, and they used to be only $49.99 a month, and now they're $89.99 a month, and it's like, we kind of did the same thing. I started evaluating. I'm like, okay, I have Fubo. All right, I have Disney Plus. We have Prime. Because we have Disney Plus, we have Hulu because it's part of the package, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, now some things are only on ESPN Plus. Thank God I have the package with Disney Plus and Hulu, right? I have had Paramount, and I have had Paramount because I wanted to watch Yellowstone. I had History because I like to watch all those documentaries about like the Vanderbilts and whatever else. Like, and I'm like, I start looking at it, I'm like, I'm spending $1,000 in TV every month, and I think people are getting to the point that they're done. And every entity out there or broadcasting company is pulling their stuff away from the masses and making it exclusive to their app. And I'm the same way. I'm just done with it.
I think it's dumb. I honestly think it's dumb. And granted, I don't run a big network or anything like that, but I think it's dumb. Here's the thing. In that report, they talked about how Peacock and Paramount and Amazon Prime and all these in Netflix, they're all talking about how they have to incorporate
Paul, I'm bringing you over, buddy. You're coming to my house.
I'm going to add some of these in here.
Yeah.
How they're incorporating commercials. Prime, I just heard last month, and Prime is going to now offer, if you don't want to have commercials, you can pay an extra $250 a month.
Yeah.
I paid the extra $250 a month because I don't want the commercials. Here's the problem. when you've got these streaming services that are not making any money and they have to go towards another revenue stream like commercials to make it somewhat tangible, that's the problem right there. You're making crap movies. Think about Netflix. Think about Prime. There's a lot of crap that is made on these streaming services.
Or I love it like Netflix and all that. It's like you want to watch whatever, right? You want to watch, let's say, City Slickers, right? And then you go on there and it's like, they have City Slickers 2, but not the first one. And it's like, bro, like, I can't watch 2 without watching the first one if I've never watched it before. Like, it's just, it's annoying.
I've thought this for quite a while. I've thought, how can these streaming services be profitable? And I think we're starting to find out that they can't be profitable, and they got to use these other revenue streams, these other tiers in the service in order to try and make some money back. I go back to just advertise on traditional TV. Just advertise.
And that's the thing. Like, we were watching Hulu over the weekend because Amanda was there, and my mom has been telling me for years I needed to watch Last Man Standing with Tim Allen. She was like, "He's right up your alley." Like, she's like, he's essentially like they stole you and put you on TV. And I haven't done it. Well, Amanda was over, and Amanda watches Last Man Standing. So then her and Rach put it on Hulu, and I, of course, sucked me right in.
Oh yeah.
And I'm watching it, and now we got commercials. And then Amanda was like, you guys don't pay for the commercial thing. And I was like, yeah. So then I'm like, how much is it? So I went and I looked. Well, I have what's called a legacy package with Disney Plus. So I only pay like $14.99 a month for Disney, Hulu, ESPN package.
Okay.
To update it, I had to move out of to not have ads. I had to move out of a legacy package to one of the newer packages, which made it like $27 or something like that. I was like, nope, we're watching commercials. I'm not paying an extra $10-12.
And that's the thing, is that if I, for example, Amazon Prime, I want that option. Yeah. Give me that option. If it's going to cost me, say Disney Plus, it's going to cost me, instead of $15 a month, it's going to cost me $30 a month to have no commercials.
Yeah.
Give me that option. Don't tell me the highest tier still has commercials. I don't want that. It irritates the crap out of me when there's still commercials on there. Let me get.
Paul says, buy a Fire Stick. Got one. And some bourbon. I'll hook you up. Funny thing, Paul, I have both those items at my house. So come on over, big fella.
Acre says, morning, boys. Drew says Yellowstone is not on Paramount, but it's on Peacock.
I use possibly somewhat illegal system called KODI or Cody. Just pay for a VN and everything. Okay, well, that's what we're doing. We're doing that. So, it's gotten out of hand, bro. It
really has.
And here's my thing, too, is I have Fubo because of the sports.
Paul's on the way.
Boy.
He's heading to your house.
Well, I'm going to need to do that because every year I end up getting rid of stuff for a while, and then I re-sign up because of football season or whatever.
Right.
And it's like Fubo. I was like, okay, get the football playoffs, then I'll be done. And then I'm like, well, then you got March Madness. I got to be able to watch March Madness. But you can watch March Madness on the CBS app, and you got to have the CBS app.
Right.
It's crazy.
And the other thing, the reason why I got, Paul says the Hood Canal, the Hood Canal has internet. What year is it there now? They've had internet for a long time. I just didn't have internet till last year in Tahuya.
Yeah. That was
but for me,
so glad you got it. I was tired of hearing about that.
Oh, me too. I was tired of hearing myself.
I should just recorded every conversation with Rory for about a 6-month stretch there, the odyssey of him getting
internet. I got to go outside and move the antenna. Gold Mountain's not there anymore.
Stream East for Sports, $60 a year. Oh, my gosh.
Ooh, I'll have to look into that. So
bring over the Cougulants.
My thought process is if I pay, I think it's like $80 a month for cable from Hood Canal Communications, that's still cheaper than me going to the bar every Saturday to watch a Cougar football game, because there's a beer or two and a meal and maybe an appetizer. And it's like, I'll spend $80 on just that one weekend.
Are you still operating on water wheels?
The
other part about it is,
you know what? Raccoons, okay? We use raccoons now.
The other part of it is then you have like, when the streaming services and the networks get in pissing contests. Example, suddenly last year, all of a sudden, all Turner broadcast stations are not available on Fubo because they couldn't come to agreement. So now I don't have TNT, TBS. So what is it? You know, some of the NBA games are on TNT, TBS. I don't get to watch them if I want to. Some of the baseball games, TBS, don't get to watch it. So it becomes like, oh my gosh, now I got to go to the Turner broadcast. It's just, I'm just so tired of it.
And it is frustrating. Like what you just said right now, you've got March Madness coming up. That's a great point. For me, I can cancel now because I'm like, I'll be somewhat into it, but not like you.
Yeah.
But I can see your problem of, well, shoot, I got March Madness coming up. Maybe I can't cancel it. Yeah. For me, I'm like, you know what? I can cancel as soon as the Super Bowl hits. I can cancel, and then I'm good until the end of August.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to sort it out because, and I obviously I'm gonna talk to Paul now that I have all this added information. Because
there you go.
I'm like, dude. First of all, the first 2 days of March Madness, we sit at Buffalo Wild Wings all day.
We spend half a year's income.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, I can cancel out those 2 days. The CBS app allows me to watch like one game free every day, and then, so I mean, these are all things to think about. This is now I'm getting a headache, bro. Like, we shouldn't talk about this. It's gotten.
You just need to sell another house.
Yeah,
sell another house, and this will all be taken care of.
Good morning, sellers. It's gotten out of hand.
Hey, by the way, Steven, it was so good to see you and the little one.
Yeah, Roland, dude.
Man, that
guy. So good to see Roland.
So I'm trying to take a picture so I can post it. You know, I'm here at Maddie's night, you know, because it's all about me. Maddie,
yeah.
Maddie who?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Roland, this guy's even worse than me.
Dude.
Steven's a little kid. He's constantly trying to get into the selfie I'm trying to take. Here, let me show you.
Steve taught him well.
Oh, my. Let me tell you. I had to – let me see if I can – so look at this. Trying to take a selfie. Nope, there he is. Trying to take another selfie. Nope, there he is. Trying to take – I'm like, bro. I'm like, dude, just stay over there for – you can't see my elbow, but I'm just like, stay over there.
Yeah. Oh, Roland.
Good kid.
Yeah,
he's such a well-behaved kid.
So smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good stuff. Anyway, yeah. I'm seriously gonna talk to Paul. Okay?
Yeah.
It's because I gotta figure something out. I can't be. I literally like just thinking about it right now, off the top of my head, how much I pay for internet every month, right?
Oh gosh, yeah.
And then $90 or $80 or $90 for Fubo, and then $15 or something like that, $16 for my Disney Plus package. And then Amazon Prime, which I have because of whatever. I mean, it just keeps going on and on and on.
Yeah, is this Dave Ramsey?
Yeah.
Yeah, can you come see Luke, please?
I know. So, anywho.
Oh, my goodness.
All right.
That's all I got, man.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
I think next week Rach is going to be on for like 10 minutes doing her little...
Yeah, I'm excited. We're going to have Rach on. Is it once a month? Is that the
We're going to have Rach on, I think, once a month. She's going to give a quick mortgage update for those of you who get interested in like what rates are doing or what programs are out there.
And I'm glad to have her on because there's a lot of misinformation out there.
Yeah.
And I think she's going to clean that up.
Yeah.
That's funny. Steven says it's funny because he never wants to take a selfie with me, though.
Can't be seen with the old man.
No, not at all.
Hey, guys, thanks so much. Again, thanks to everyone who made last Friday night very special for my family and my daughter. You guys are all beautiful, wonderful people, and I love you to death. Thanks for jumping on with us. Thanks for spending some time with us.
And, hey, if you're on that side of the bridge tonight, come out to South Kitsap.
Yep, 7 o'clock tip-off, South Kitsap.
South Kitsap's a decent team, right?
Yeah, and they got a couple Giants on their team that give Maddie, a good run, a good challenge. So it's good. Yeah, love to see you. I'll be there 7 o'clock, a little before that. So Pitts and I will be out there.
All right. Cool.
Anyways, okay, back to my patient. Good, Paul.
And I'll just give you a quick teaser. Aside from Rachel being on next week, you want to join us next week because we have something coming up special in February.
Oh, we do.
Where you can have a chance to win a prize.
Maybe a little something for all you lovers out there.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, guys, take care. Have a beautiful week. Thanks for joining us. Take care of each other. High five each other. Hug each other. All that good stuff. And we'll see you soon.
See you guys.
Bye.
That was wonderful.
Bravo!
I loved that.
Oh, it was great.
Well, it was pretty good.
Well, it wasn't bad.
Well, there were parts of it that weren't very good, though.
It could have been a lot better.
I didn't really like it.
It was pretty terrible.
It was bad.
It was awful.
It was terrible.
Get him away!
Hey, boo!